It's 6:30. Good morning. I'm Ian Crouch with Hunter News. The state government has spent almost $50,000 over the past year on taxis to transport passengers because of late, cancelled or overcrowded trains, with much of this going towards lengthy trips in the Hunter. In one case, around $1,300 was spent on a taxi ride from Hornsby to East Maitland. There was also an $862 taxi fare from Hamilton to Hornsby. The state opposition says the government should be putting more money into rail maintenance. Newcastle MP Sharon Claydon has slammed Attorney General George Brandis for failing to replace judges once they've retired. She says there's a shortage of judges in Australia, both in the Federal Circuit Court and Family Court, and Senator Brandis is not replacing them quickly enough. Sharon Claydon says Newcastle litigants are complaining it takes far too long to even get a hearing.
We've just had the retirement of Judge Giles Coates, and that means that we are now a senior judge short in Newcastle. Cases aren't even being mentioned in the court anymore. Like it used to be, you used to be able to get a mention between 6 to 8 weeks. That is now blown out to 4 months, and that's having enormous impact on families.
Newcastle Council is being criticised for a decision to withdraw its $270 million investment portfolio away from banks which invest in fossil fuels. Labor and Greens councillors combined to back the move on Tuesday night, spearheaded by Councillor Declan Clausen. However, federal Hunter MP Joel Fitzgibbon has described the move by his ALP colleagues as astounding and misguided, telling the Herald it's amazing a council with the largest coal port in the world would move to do all it can to undermine the industry. Newcastle Council has decided to keep the low-cost entry fee to Beresfield Pool after figures showed its income has dropped by more than 20%. Despite an increase in attendance, it's expected the pool will cost ratepayers almost $500,000 this year, causing some to question its long-term future. Newcastle Lord Mayor Newcastle Nelms says the pool should remain at its low cost.
To have a pool provided at Beresfield at a low cost entry is absolutely the right thing to do for not only the local community around Beresfield and Taro and Woodbury, but also for the citizens of Newcastle. It's only fair that if it's free to go swimming at Merewether or Newcastle, it should be equally as affordable to go swimming in Beresfield.
A worrying number of 15-year-old girls in Newcastle and Lake Macquarie aren't vaccinated against the virus which can cause cervical cancer. The latest figures show almost 1 in 3 aren't fully immunised against HPV, with local rates below the national average and going backwards. A national vaccination program was introduced 8 years ago. Hunter organisations are being urged to apply for a sporting grant of up to $1 million to help upgrade their facilities. Applications are open until early October, with eligible groups being invited to lodge formal applications by December 16. Parliamentary Secretary for the Hunter, Scott McDonald, says the grant is targeted towards regional communities.
Any sporting club can apply for them. There's $8 million available across New South Wales. This round is to help upgrade sports and recreation facilities, targeted at probably some of the smaller communities, the disadvantaged and regional remote communities.
Sport for our sponsor, Warners Bay Sports Club, Fishing Expo, September 13.
The Newcastle North Stars have named Geordie Woodrick as their most valuable player after taking out the minor premiership in the Australian Ice Hockey League. The Canadian ice hockey import set new records for the Australian League with 44 goals and 91 points and was a standout choice for the award. The North Stars will face the Canberra Brave in a semi-final showdown on Saturday and, if successful, will advance to the decider on Sunday. The Newcastle Knights are preparing for possibly their biggest home game of the season when they meet the Bulldogs at Hunter Stadium on Saturday. The game will have extra meaning for the club as they farewell captain Kurt Gidley and celebrate Old Boys Day. Interim coach Denny Badiris says mental preparation will be key ahead of the clash.
This week's all about mental. It's all about applying yourself between the ears and getting into that headspace to fight again. And like I said, we've got a great occasion here this weekend, so I don't have to play too much on it.
And in soccer, Charlestown have appointed former Lake Macquarie coach Barry Ross as their youth coordinator, development officer and player welfare officer for 2016. That's sport. I'm Emily Crowe.
2 NURFM News Time 26 to 7.